Hello, welcome back to my podcast. This is Marikia, and this is live from M's perspective. If you're a first listener and if it's your first time tuning in, may I please encourage you to go listen to my previous podcast that I've done on different topics. So this podcast is basically based on my perspective, my point of view, and I believe the fact that just because we hold a different point of view and we hold a different opinion, it doesn't really deem you to be correct and me wrong, and it can be also vice versa. So this podcast allows you to basically listen to my point of view and my perspective while you still hold on to your own beliefs and point of view and opinions and perspective. So today's topic, I'm actually just going to jump straight into it because today's topic is actually a hot topic. It's like it's completely going to be different based on something I've done before. Although I feel like I have done something similar to this back in the days when I first started doing my podcast. And also I've actually done something similar to what I'm about to talk about. The suspense, guys, don't worry, I'm getting there. Like, it's also kind of similar to something that I did when I used to have a YouTube account. It's actually still there. Like, you can still find my videos on the YouTube, which is a little bit embarrassing now, but it's kind of similar to what I actually talked about. It's more to do with I wouldn't say like community or relationships, or it's kind of like politics at the moment, which is kind of something I studied. So it's just like the hot topic of what's happening in DRC Congo. As some of you might know, as you're listening to this, the fact that there's a lot happening now. There's, things are not going okay down there in Congo because of some of them are speculating or the assumption, what I will call, some of them are saying it's a war, some of them are saying it's a genocide, some of them are saying they're giving it all a lot of different names at the moment. And obviously there's people who are suffering from that process, the civilians who are actually being deprived of their lives, and there's also injured people who are being denied medication, or who can't access medical facilities and all that kind of stuff, and some people who've died from this particular conflict that's currently going on in DRC Congo, and it's in regards to M23. So that's like a sum up of a precap of what's currently going on in DRC Congo. So technically what triggered this topic for me today, it's actually social media. As we all know, like, social media is a good platform to get news, to also interact with friends. It's also a good platform where you can actually kill time when you're bored. Let's be honest. You kill a lot of time when you're on social media. But this time, I've actually been triggered with certain posts that I'm seeing on my social media account, based on the people that I follow, or even on your explore, when you're going out to explore on explore page, and you research or you look up something, and there's this people venting and going on and about and what's going on, and you can see that people are picking side of what's happening, of the conflict that's currently going on. And I remember I've actually had a topic before like this on my YouTube account when I had first started, and it was also in regards to what was happening back home. So I'm Congolese, I am Munyamulenge. So I'm originally from Congo, so which makes me Congolese, and that time there was something going on back home, and my people, the Munyamulenge, were being massacred. They were being killed for who they are, and they were not being deemed to be Congolese, obviously being denied the they were not being basically recognized as Congolese. So that became a big deal, and they were just being killed. Not like it's ended, it hasn't, it's like still present. So I did touch on the base that whether do you, as humans, or as it's a question that I posed to the public, I was like, do you think it's right for the fact that somebody has to be killed based on who they are because of who they were born in? Because at the end of the day, we don't choose what family we're born in, we don't choose what background we're born in, we don't choose the ethnicity that we're born in, we don't choose the background that we, our parents also don't choose that. No one chooses, you know, what country to be born in, what nationality to be born in. So how is it fair that somebody is, you know, is killed because of that, or somebody's life is cut short, another word, just based on who they are? I did pose that question back to the public, and that, for me, that does not sit right. So as individuals on with this issue that's currently happening, that's the same question that I pose, is the fact that I've seen people on social media advocating for humanitarian and for human rights, and some of them have advocated in a way that's actually hypocrisy and selfish. This is my opinion, people. Don't kill me for it, don't judge me for it, because I'm allowed to hold this opinion. So I've seen people, and I'm actually so passionate about this topic because I'm all about human rights. And if you actually know me, I don't like when there's no justice being served where it should be served, and I hate when actually people are not being fair. And I just feel like everybody has the right to the, a right to live, a right to education. They have a right to actually have an opinion, and they have a right to have a say in whatever they want to have a say, and they have a right and a choice to live their life in the way they want to live it, without interference of any other person in particular. So that's why, for me, the reason why I'm saying that, what I've seen on the social media in regards to what's currently going on with M23, the rebel group trying to take over DRC Congo, and the Congolese armies and soldiers and administration trying to fight back. It's like, it's the way that I'm gonna call, obviously, as the Banyamulenge, we haven't been recognized, or it doesn't matter if they recognize us or not, but we are, whether they like it or not, because when the colonizers came and divided the borders in between, we did not tell them, hey, don't land us in Rwanda, land us in Congo. We didn't communicate that. That's what happened when they colonized. So for the fact that we landed on the DRC side, it doesn't technically mean that we're Rwandese. We're still Congolese. But obviously, some people don't want to believe it. That's their own problem. That's their own business. I can't really do much about it. So for the fact that when the Banyamulenge were being killed, and they were being basically prosecuted based on who they are, and based on the fact that the Congolese administration does not deem them to be Congolese, and that's why they're massacring them, and that's why they're prosecuting them, because they don't want to give them the right and to what they're entitled to. Basically, their origin is of Congolese, they're born in Congolese, their ancestors are Congolese. Like, when the colonizers were doing all that, you didn't want to fight that, and if you already know, you already know. The borders were there, and we landed where we landed. Basically, that already deems us to be Congolese. Whether I'm going to call these people the typical, at least the ones who claim they are Congolese and who are busy massacring these Tutsi and Banyamulenge people, who they are calling, I quote, like they're calling the Rwandese people. They did not care when those lives were being lost. They did not care when the Congolese administration was busy not protecting the lives of those individuals back home, where I come from, where is Omanyamulenge. They did not care. But from the moment From the moment these M23 people decide, we've had enough, now we're coming for you. Now people are being hypocrite and jumping on social media trying to defend the atrocities that are happening in Congo. They're trying to defend, they are trying to advocate for human rights that's happening, that's not currently being received in DRC Congo. Where was that advocacy, or where was that sense of sympathy when the Banyamulenge were being persecuted? So the moment the tables are turned, and actually, I'm not defending what's happening in DRC Congo right now, because there are innocent people who are suffering through this, and there are innocent people who are denied food, they're denied all this kind of stuff because of the situation that's currently happening. I'm not defending that what's happening is correct, it's right, but the fact that there's so much hypocrisy in all this, it's actually, it's really heartbreaking, and it's really low-key irritating and annoying, because if you deem yourself, if you think you're a person who believes in human rights, you should not be able to choose who you advocate for and who you don't advocate for. You shouldn't be choosing and deciding that this person's life matter and this person's life doesn't matter just because they're of your own inheritance. So it really kind of gets to me, and it actually gets to my nerve with this situation, because let's face it, when the situation was going on in Gaza and whatever was happening with Israel and all that kind of stuff, everybody felt it, and you would actually like, yo, this is not cool, this is not happening. People will advocate, people will not, like, it's obviously you will tend to see that people who are more involved will be more attached than the people who are not. And for me, I find that to be I really I don't know how to put this, I really hate that. Like, whatever's happening in Gaza, in my personal point of view, if I cannot advocate for Gaza's individuals and all that, the massacre and the war that's happening there and the killing of the innocent individuals, if I cannot advocate for their human right, I shouldn't be able then to advocate for the human rights of my own people, because regardless of who they are, they're still humans and they're still entitled to the life. They're still entitled, and they should still be allowed to live without any sort of fear that anytime they could be killed just because of who they are. That's the same way that I should be able to advocate for my own people, because you can't tell me that all of a sudden your humanitarian, or your sympathy or your heart breaks the moment that your own people are getting killed, but the moment other people are getting killed and being are not being served the correct, or they're not receiving the justice that they deserve, your mouth is shut, your social media account is shut, you're not posting what you should be posting. And it's not because you're not oblivious, that like you're oblivious to what's happening, or it's not because that you don't know what's going on. You do, but you really don't think it's your problem. But the moment it hits your home, that's when you start feeling like yo, I didn't know that it can also get to us, so it's just like, whatever is happening right now, it's actually heartbreaking, not for the fact that it's happening to the people that it's happening to, but the way the social media and the way the people are taking it, the way people are advocating, it's just like, I'm sorry, but this is typically, I feel like I want to be targeting the people that are called typical Congolese. Like, now that you're able to feel the pain that's going on, the moment you feel like, and I don't think M23, personally, I take what they're doing as a self-defense. This is how I view it. Okay, it's a self-defense. You've been attacking us all the time, you've been denying us of our rights, And we've heard enough for years and decades. This has never ended. There've been wars, conflict, civil war. Everything has occurred all these many years, and we literally stay quiet. But the moment these rebel groups are formed and they're trying to fight for the right of those individuals, you have a problem with it. Really? You didn't see this? The moment that your administration was doing all this and was doing nothing to protect the lives of those individuals, you didn't think there was something wrong for you to advocate for that. But the moment it hits your home, you're actually like out here tarnishing other people's administration. For example, the Paul Kagame administration. I'm not here defending Paul Kagame because, yo, all I can say is a good politician. I'm actually gonna give it to him. But that's what politics is all about. But the only thing I hate is the fact that we don't educate ourselves to actually understand what's going on. We're really quick to jump to seeing the simple clips of the news that's portrayed to us, and we take those little clips that are trending, that are going viral, or those images that are going viral, and we just base our judgment on that, and we don't take our time to educate ourselves. We don't take our time to actually base our opinion and judgment based on the information that you've gathered yourself, based on the information that you've actually went deep and researched and looked into it, and just see where's this stemming from, where is this coming, where has this originated, why is it you know why is it exacerbating, and why is it like going too far. We don't take time to educate ourselves on the things of politics, and we don't take our time to educate the things on why are the leaders taking the decision they're taking. We don't take our time to actually dig deeper and make our judgments on the fact that, as humans, if this was happening to me, would I be cool with it? If this was happening to me, if this was happening to my family, would I be cool with it? Then if you cannot be cool with what's happening to your family, how can you be cool with that if it's happened to another family? How? The only thing I just want to encourage people who jump on social media and they're ready to post and they're ready to judge, to pass judgments. I feel like I really respect people who repost and don't make a comment, because sometimes the comments that we actually make can actually say a lot about the person. It can also say a lot about how unlimited your thinking is, and how unlimited and how biased the information you're posting on social media is, because you haven't actually went far and beyond to educate yourself on the situation and what's happening. The only thing you're basically focused on, which is really like, it can be a really it catches your eyes, and that's obviously what's happening to the innocent lives that are being lost, and how these people are losing their life for no reason. They shouldn't be going through this. It's not their fault, like why they're falling into the mistake of the administration. Like, obviously that catches everyone's eyes, and you feel when you hear, like, for example, like 500 children have been misplaced, or have been, or they've been killed, and they're not receiving medical treatment that they should be entitled to. All those things are easy to catch our eyes, and we're easy to repost so fast, sympathizing with them and advocating for them. But then we jump on quick to make more comment, passing judgments, and basically trying to be to marshal those people without knowing what's going on, without knowing why is this happening. Do the innocent life deserve to be lost in this process? No, I'm not saying they should. Definitely not. But let's face it, we live in a world of politics, we live in a world of war, we live in a world where civil wars and world wars will happen or have occurred. We live in a world that's not perfect. We don't live in a world where, all the politicians are on the same table agree that there should be peace everywhere. No, we don't live in that world. We definitely do not, because if we did, there wouldn't be wars and there wouldn't be people being killed for no reason, people being like, you know, embargoes being implemented on people so they cannot get food, they cannot get electricity from other organization or from different countries. All those things wouldn't be. These countries exist so they can protect their own interest. These politicians exist so they can protect their own people. These organizations actually exist so they can do what serves their people to their best interest, which is, I guess, what they call, sovereignty and state sovereignty. Like, that's what they're there to do. Like, but as individuals who are out of that section, what can we do so that we don't fall onto the wrong side of trying to be on the side that we shouldn't be on, or trying to hold aside, because these topics are topics that will affect whether we like it or not. We all come from communities where we have different friends, we're from different backgrounds, and these things are happening in our countries and these things are happening everywhere. So you will tend to fall on the wrong side just because you're defending your home, not realizing that maybe your home is wrong, maybe what your administration is doing is wrong, but because you have that defense mechanism or defending who you are, then you fall into a trap, not actually caring so much about the human rights that are being lost in that moment, and just you're caring for the fact of who you are. I'm not saying like hate who you are, love who you are, admire who you are, like cherish who you are. That's absolutely okay. That's absolutely amazing. But before you open your mouth to speak, and before you start typing that thing you're about to type on a social media account that's gonna go to hundreds of millions of people, just think, are you doing this out of ego? Are you doing this out of being in denial of the fact that you know the reality of things but you're choosing to ignore the reality? Or are you actually doing this because you actually do care for the human rights of individuals who are actually going through what they're going through right now? So this is just a topic that's actually been triggering me, and it actually didn't trigger me because of what's been happening, because I've always like, I try to know what's going on in the world, but again, it's like I can't really fix anything, I can't really do anything, I don't have the power, I don't hold the power to dive deeper into it. Obviously, like, hashtag trends do help a lot, and that's as much as we can all do. If we don't have that capacity and that authority to go far and beyond and help, I just want to encourage you today, go far and beyond and do your own research. Go far and beyond and educate yourself regarding certain situation, regarding certain political issues, regarding certain things that are going on in the world, before you jump on social media or sit down in a group of a conversation with people and start commenting on things that you can't even back up with any single facts, because you're just defending things that you've heard about from certain people. You hear this from certain people, you see this from a social media account, you don't know where they got that information, you make that your own information. You make your judgment, you base your judgment on other people's information without actually basing your own judgment based on the information that you've acquired yourself. So just my encouragement today, educate yourself, people. Educate, go far and beyond to find out information about certain things before you fall into a trap of believing what other people, because some people think that the news is always right, the journalists are always right, like the things that we see on the news are always right. Sometimes they're not. I'm just gonna say, sometimes they're not. These people are selling, these people are making money out of things that they let you see. So it's really important to also understand what type of source you need to trust and what type of source that you cannot trust. When you're reading, educate yourself on the fact that this is all this is a propaganda news. This is a news that I can rely on. This is an article that I can read and be like, yeah, this is actually true. This is not true. Or like analyze things before you actually jump to conclusion, and before you actually stand firm on what you're saying. Because when somebody who actually knows the thing they're talking about challenges you, you won't be able to even speak back and retaliate back, or even like be able to hold a conversation on the same level with that person, because obviously they've done the research. They know way more than you think you know, because you've just based your information on a word of mouth, and you've also just based your information on one picture and one caption that you've seen on social media. So I'm just gonna encourage everybody, please educate yourself and just go far and beyond, especially if you're somebody who wants to be involved on these type of things on social media and you want to advocate. And people who actually believe in human rights and who believe that every person has the right to live without any limitation of certain things, without, you know, stop choosing side. Like stop deciding who actually deserves to leave and who doesn't deserve to leave. Because the moment you start posting about certain countries who are going through crisis, and then you choose to not post about the other country that who are going through crisis, and you are aware that those countries are going through crisis, but you don't choose also post to show some sense of advocacy for them, you're actually choosing and deciding who deserves to leave and who doesn't deserve to leave. And don't do this for the political reasons, but do this for the fact that you're actually doing for the innocent life that are being lost in the process of what politicians are doing and how they're damaging everyone's life. So that's just, this is something I'm really passionate about. I'm really passionate about human rights, and I'm really passionate about this topic because I really can't explain it. So this is just my opinion about what's going on in DRC Congo and where people's opinions should sit. Not saying that take side, but I could go deeper to go more into different detailed type of things. But my topic is basically just focus on the fact that I'm not gonna talk more about how M23 came to be. I'm not gonna talk more of how Rwanda's administration or Kagame is involved in this conflict that's currently going on, and I'm not gonna talk about how DRC Congo is also involved or has maybe instigated whatever, or is kind of the reason why something like this is happening or not. I'm not gonna go deeper into those things. You can do your own research and you can find out your own information. But the only thing my focus is on the fact that human rights is a human right. It doesn't matter if you're Umunyamulenge, it doesn't matter if you're the typical Congolese who don't think the Wanyamulenge are Congolese, but obviously they are. And it doesn't matter if you're Rwandese, it doesn't matter if you're Israelite, it doesn't matter if you're from America, it doesn't matter if you're Ethiopian. It doesn't really matter who you are, and it doesn't matter where you come from. Human rights is human rights, and everybody should be entitled and should have the same as every single individual, regardless of their race, regardless of their color, regardless of their nationality, regardless of their gender. It doesn't really matter. Human right is human right. So when you're busy advocating for one, just tap in and be like, if this was happening to me, would I like it? Would I feel good about it? If you wouldn't, then feel the need to actually advocate for those other people who are going through that same the crisis that you wouldn't wish upon yourself. So that's just a simple message for today, and I hope that you guys liked it. I know it's a bit different and completely different to what I usually talk about, but I hope you guys like it. And if you want more of this type of topics, please feel free to let me know, and I will bring more of this topic to you guys. And please feel free to share your opinion, criticize if you want to criticize, and if you just have something else to add to my expand on my understanding of what human rights should be, or how people should go about to advocate for people's human rights, and how people should be careful about choosing sides that they take on before they actually go on advertising and advocating on social media, and get finding themselves in situations such a conversation they can't really handle due to lack of information. Please feel free to do that, and I will take on that point of view or information with a good heart, because I believe in educating myself and I believe in learning. So yeah, thank you, and I hope to see you guys next time. And this was live from M's perspective. So see you guys next time. Bye.